meant that like personally, definitely not as the show. But yeah, if you wanna jump right into it, thank you for coming on to Factions of Freedom. This is the episode called Celebrity Killers, where we have on a very, very important guest. His name is Pastor Hinton. Pastor, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. First, I thank you for having me. My name is Sky Hinton. I'm a pastor at AMC Ministries, and I also have a program called Pastors Chronicles. And then Pastors Chronicles is actually it's a chronicle. It's a series that's exposing corruption as in the music industry, entertainment, and the governments, and then false churches.
I think that's very prevalent, especially these days. People need to understand that entertainment has entered the church. The church has become worldly with that kind of mindset.
That's right.
So would you kind of want to go into detail a little bit about your ministry?
Yes. First of all, the Lord came to me with this. As I was coming up, I began to see that the church was converting over to the world. And so the Lord began to show me that in the book of Revelations, the Bible lets you know that in the end time that the church would become paganism. Paganism will infiltrate the church. And the church will convert over to paganism and Gnosticism and things of that nature. So God began to show me these things. He showed me, who can I reveal the hidden agendas and the hidden things that's going on? So I said, Lord, here am I. So the Lord took me through training, and I began to read up on a lot of things, understand the books of Revelations and Daniels, and the prophets of old. They begin to reveal the things that's happening. I can actually show you from the book of Genesis all the way to Revelations what's actually going on in the governments. I can actually show you in the book of Revelations who will actually rule the governments and who they work for. And so therefore, why should I keep quiet when I see these things? And God and Jesus himself prophesied of what's taking place now. And you've seen for yourself on the social media, Facebook, that when I exposed young lady Beyonce, that everybody just went crazy. And I know why everybody went crazy, because I mean, if you look at it, if you've been sleeping in darkness for a very, very, very long time, and somebody unplug you, and that light is so bright, you're going to get irritated. It's going to irritate your eyes because you never used them.
But it's the truth.
Exactly. So once your eyes is flung open, you're like, oh, cut that light off. Mm-hmm. And so the backlash, I understood what was going on, but at the same time, I guarantee you these very same people, they actually read, they look at, and they want to know more of what's going on. But for the most part, Pastors Chronicles, a lot of people want to see it more because it's a lot of series on the Freemasons, a group or the J that been there for a very, very long time. And I don't want to say the name of the power that the Jesuit order worked for and who all these entities and work for at this time, because if I call them out, people say, no way, come on, are you kidding me? Well, KRS-One actually gave us a description of who it is. Matter of fact, it's not the Illuminati. Illuminati is basically a puppet. Just like all the presidents and politicians, they're all puppets. Mm-hmm. The greater power is revealed in Revelation 13, in Revelation 17, Revelation 18. Even God did not expose that power in the time of John. He gave symbolisms to identify who this power would be, and this power would do everything that the symbolism would with through everything that these symbols in the Bible interprets itself and tells us what these symbols are, and this power is actually doing this. So everybody is actually doing the working of this power, and you got like the Democrats and the Republicans, they're actually working together. And what they're trying to do, excuse me?
I was going to say, it's like a separate language entirely whenever we start talking about this stuff, and they have a reason for that, to try to have it to where it is closed off, to where people don't actually try to think, well, hey, what are these people in control? What are they actually talking about? What is the language, the symbolism behind that? And they just make it where it's too confusing to where they think we can't understand it.
Exactly. You see, all of it is a setup. If you look at Mike Tyson, he said it out of his mouth. He can't say too much. Matter of fact, when you see these artists and these entertainers and these actors, when they put their fingers over their mouths, cover their eyes and stuff like that, they basically telling each other or telling all those that understand the gesture that if you say too much, you're gonna get murdered. Say too much, you're gonna get killed. And throughout the ages, even like the Titanic, the killing of Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all these great reformers. If you see them, they crossed the line and they were cut down. So they're not going to expose too much. But one thing Mike Tyson said, and I understood that, is that in boxing, it's the Democrats and Republicans. One side is red and one side is blue. And so it's who's going to rule first? Who's going to bring forth the new world order first? But both of them is really in cahoots, and they work for the whore of Revelations and
Babylon.
Exactly. They work for Babylon, Mystery Babylon, and who's going to bring forth the new world order first? Matter of fact, the Bible said that and they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast. In order to give power to the beast, you must dumb down the masses.
Yep.
And so that's what Celebrity Killers is all about, is educating the masses to understand the cover-up. There is a cover-up, and the cover-up is done through music, through subliminal messages that enter to their subconscious and control the way they think, the way they act, the way they eat. Everything that we do is somehow controlled.
Yep.
And so if you look at The Matrix is a very, very good movie to watch. The Matrix, Morpheus was telling Neo, and Neo couldn't face the fact. He couldn't understand. He didn't want to understand the truth that man is created into a battery, into a machine. And that means that man is controlled. But when you take that pill, you can't go back. So the celebrities and the politicians and the governors and stuff, once they take that pill, they can't go back. If they try to go back, they have to be cut down, have to be murdered. So Celebrity Killers, and I know a lot of people say, well, brother, you're putting your head out there. Well, Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you haven't found something that you would die for, you're not worthy to live.
Yeah,
and so
amen.
If you don't expose the corruption in high places according to the Bible, then you are part of the problem.
Well, that's it. That's why they try to put us in this mind control, this matrix, like you said, so we don't start having or at least understanding the strength that we have. They try to keep us in this little box to where they think, oh, let's have them pay attention, like you said, to this boxing match right here, where we got the people in the back, the money changers from the den, that are taking the money, that are messing with us, that are actually trying to dictate and take the freedoms that we have, while we're sitting over here acting like, well, people that don't, slaves, really, people that don't want to try to revolt, that don't want to try to expose the system. And when we do that, we still give more power over to this beast system.
Exactly. I want to refer back to the Matrix again when Morpheus said this is a dream world. A lot of people, they refuse, they don't want to believe that such a thing is happening. And when I received the truth, it was hard for me to digest. That's why I wasn't, when people come at me sideways, I don't really, get very irritated with. I laugh at times because it reminded me of myself when I received the truth.
Yep.
And I began to understand the beast powers and symbolisms in the book of Daniel. Matter of fact, the Bible lets you know when the end time started, but it never tells you when Christ's going to come back, but it tells you when it started. It tells you when the last days started. It tells you about the deaths of Christians, the death of Christianity, all kind of stuff like that, the rising of Islam. The Bible tells you about the rise of Islam. It tells you about the rise of atheism and all this kind of stuff that came up. But what people fail to realize is that if you look at black people, you look at my people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
My people, because a lot of people come to me and say, brother, you serve a white Jesus, you serve a white God, and you brainwash and all that. But what they fail to realize is that true Christianity is under the rubbish.
Yep.
For many, many decades, the beast power, the beast system, always try to suppress the truth, and they always use people of talents to do so. And if you go back to the time of Jesus, when the enemy himself tried to make Jesus submit to a blood oath, he tried to make Jesus submit to a blood oath. That blood oath and the sacrifice would have been all of us. If Jesus would have submitted to that blood oath, we would have been the sacrifice. Because in order for you to receive power and fame, you have to do a blood oath. Some of them have to do blood oath and sacrifice someone close to him. So we would have been a sacrifice. Okay?
Well, see, this is part of that huge deception. Because whenever you say Jesus, people think of Cesar Borgia. They don't think of the real Jesus. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's part of the why people think Christianity is with a white Jesus. That's part of it. So whenever these celebrities come out saying, "Oh, I wish Jesus would help me," like Justin Bieber and Chris Brown, they're praying to the false god.
Exactly.
They're praying to Lucifer.
Exactly. Because they don't. And I'm glad you said that. Our people, the dark shade. That's what I would say. The dark shade.
Mm-hmm.
If you go all the way back to the time of Babylon, if you go all the way back to the time of Egypt, Media Persia, these were dark-skinned people, okay? These people knew who the true and living God was. They was connected to our God that created heaven, earth, and the sea and the fountains, the supreme ruler, right?
Right.
What happened was men started doing what we see today, calling themselves gods. They started listening to the enemy because it was the enemy that told Eve that she would be a goddess. And so he said, when you reach to a certain point of knowledge and you illuminate it with this certain point of knowledge, you become a god. God knows if you rebel against him and bite of this fruit, you will become a god. So if you receive a certain light or knowledge of good and evil, you become a goddess. So this same thing been echoing throughout time, and our people submitted to this, and Ra was worshipped as God. They turned from the true living God and started worshiping man and all kind of beasts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and so
paganism.
God told them, listen, if you don't turn from these idolatries and this paganism, your land gonna be taken by a foreign race. Okay? So you had Egypt, you had Africa, you had Media Persia, you had Babylon. These were all dark-shaped people. And because they refused to do the will of God, the Greeks was the first white people that came on the set to rule the world. You had the Greeks, then you had the Romans. So what's happened is when we was brought over into slavery, yes, we was given a bogus Christianity to believe in.
Masonic Christianity.
Mysticism we was given mingled with Christianity to control us. Okay? But what happened was God is not finished yet. Around 1798, the truth came out of the wilderness and it was given to black people. Because black people, when the time when we was free from slavery, the truth was given to us, But the devil wasn't finished. What he done was he caused a division among the black race. Because
scattered us.
Exactly, the Caucasian race, they had the truth, but it wasn't preaching the truth like God wanted it to. Now you had people that was white brothers that was preaching the truth, of course. There's gonna always be a people that stand for God. Mm-hmm. But like the Jews when they came out of slavery, the African Americans when they came out of slavery, they was the most humblest race upon the face of the earth. So God gave them the truth. That's why the way we are today, under so much pressure and attack, because we had the truth. Now, what happened is, because the churches are not doing the will of God, the Bible said the churches will be asleep too. Because the churches are not doing the will of God, what's happening is they begin to teach bogus Babylonian doctrines. And so now you got people who can't feel it, who don't understand what salvation. They out there like sheep, going astray. They start to turn back to the very things that cause them to lose their land and their power, which is mysticism, paganism. And so now you got these celebrities and all these other people who's working for the whore of Revelations, Babylon. They throwing up these symbolisms. Why? Because they are brainwashing our people and causing our people to hate white people.
Well, that's whenever they say that phrase, believe in love, whenever they had that flashing over in the Super Bowl. It's like you said, it's that false idolatry where they're just, or that false doctrine where they're saying, hey, believe in love.
Exactly.
And that's the lie, is because they're not having discernment. They're not having wisdom with it. They're coming up with these fake things where all we really keep doing is just saying yes. Yes to more people coming over. Yes to having all this division. Yes to having our rights taken. Yes to all this hatred. Instead of acting with wisdom and discernment, we're over here just saying believe in love. And that just brainwashes us, like you said. That just makes us to where we don't think critically, we don't get engaged, and we just keep getting ourselves involved in this spiritual Babylon, to where we're all just literally babbling.
Exactly. So if you look at, like you said about the Super Bowl and the cult symbolism, that believe in love thing, the Bible prophesied that men ain't gonna say peace, peace where there's no peace.
Yep.
And if you look at the subliminal messages that was in the Super Bowl, the subliminal messages that's in the TVs, in the episodes, in the movies, all this is in people's subconscious. And people fail to realize that whatsoever the eyes see or the ears hear, it forces the mind to dwell on. It's unavoidable. Like, for example, I'm in school to be a producer, to where I understand the methods of sound waves, and I thank God that God allowed me to go there, because my mentor, bless his heart, a very wise man, he was showing me. He told me this. He asked me. He said, "Pastor, when you think about mixing, what do you think about?" And so I'm like, what kind of question is that? He said, when you think about mixing, what do you think about? I said, well, you're just trying to get the music right. He said, no. You know what his brother told me?
What?
A subliminal message. He said, it's about controlling a person's emotions. When he told me that, brother, I looked at him. I said, okay. It's called syncopation music. Syncopation is the offset of the beat. And the offset of the beat causes corrosion, corruption in the brain. That corruption is the lower passions of the body, or the lower civic part of the brain that fell in the time of Adam and Eve, becomes dominant over the reasons. Like, why couldn't people see what I said was so important? Why can't they see this devilish and all this satanic rituals? Why can't they see that? Because
denial.
Their lower nature is supremacy over the higher faculties
where the reasons and the conscience and the decisions are made, which is the higher part of the brain, which we call the faculty of faith. When the lower nature, which is your passions, your sexual desires, your angers, your feelings, all that, if that's in control of your reasons, then yes, these subliminal messages will go right in your subconscious, and it will actually control you to a point you will be actually programmed without going through MK Ultra programming. You will actually be programmed that if I was to step in front of a bunch of Beyonce fans and say what I said, they would kill me. They would literally tear me to pieces. Why? Because in their subconscious, it is programmed to them, in them, to kill whoever that speaks against their God. And it's all done through this, like you said, believe in love. These subliminal messages and these Super Bowl and all these things is programming the people to yield to men and look at men as gods. And when you speak against that idol, woe to you.
Because they want to act out. The minute you start putting holes in who they think is God or their little idols, that's whenever, like you said, they try to react.
Exactly.
I mean, think about the mind control of that. This is the whole football scene thing's been going on for like the past few months and the past few years, right? Think about how much tension, how much anger, how much drive, how much passion that's bringing. And what kind of symbols do they flash? Believe in love, LGBT rights, and the Black Lives Matter thing. And you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They try to hype up all this other stuff, but then they flash it like love to make it seem like this is all normal.
Right.
Don't you like fighting with each other? Don't you like gay people?
Exactly.
Don't you like the Black Lives Matter
Exactly.
acting out? It's love. It's okay. This is normal. And that's that brainwashing.
Mm-hmm.
That's that active brainwashing. And whenever we try to speak against it, that's whenever, like you said, people start saying, whoa. I'm not brainwashed.
That's right.
Beyonce is awesome. She didn't become possessed on stage.
Exactly.
She's not flashing symbols. That's denial.
And the sad thing about that, brother, is she said it out of her mouth.
Sasha Fierce.
She said, I raised my hand and it came on me, and I felt that. She even said in the Oprah, when Oprah was interviewing her, that she blanks out. When Sasha Fierce takes control of her, she don't know nothing. She blanked out. And she said, one moment, I came to and I realized I was shaking a fan's hand, then I blanked out again. Now, mind you, the Bible tells you that when a person is possessed, they don't know what they're doing. They don't even know that they're living, because the devil has totally took full control over their reasons. And so they're dead. And when Christ cast out these demons, the Bible said the people fell dead. They lay there like they were dead. And when they came to, they didn't know where they was at. So this woman said that when Sasha Fierce take control of her, she blanks out. She's not there. So her fans listen to this, and like you said, they so programmed, the only thing they see is love.
Right. That's deception. Well, it's like, you saw that meme I sent you, right? Where they were explaining what Sasha meant, what Sasha Fierce meant.
Yes.
The fact that it's the spirit of someone who's no longer living, but is known to someone that's currently alive. In other words, Sasha is a spirit known as the living dead. So she's inheriting, she's openly inheriting demons, and people they're glorifying it.
That's right.
They want more of it.
That's right. And you know what? I studied that before. There was an island. There was a tribe that actually they would eat like the women that died. That was very popular, knowledgeable, or a leader in their tribe. When they died, they would actually fillet them and eat them, thinking that they possessed their spirit, that their spirit was within them. And they receive power or knowledge or wisdom. Now, that right there is only opening up doors for the Antichrist. That instead of people receiving the latter rain, which is the Holy Spirit, they're going to be receiving demonic spirits so they can yield to the Antichrist power. Once they yield to the Antichrist power, the plagues going to drop from heaven, from God, to punish sin. Because the Bible said that it's 7 last plagues going to drop before Christ come back. But the people going to be so drunk, because the Bible said that, and they worship the dragon which gave power to the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? And the Bible said that the beast caused everyone on the earth to receive a mark in his forehead and his hand. How did that happen? The only way a people can receive a mark in their forehead and in their hand is if they were controlled and programmed and brainwashed.
Yeah.
To a point, the Bible said they're going to bring fire from heaven. And this is happening. And I did in my Celebrity Killers series, we was talking about HARP. You ever heard of the program HARP?
Oh yeah.
Okay, out there is a $1 billion operation to where they could control the weather.
Weather modification.
Exactly. And so you have Katrina over there in Hades, all these things that was happening. You got foreign politicians and governors saying the United States of America is playing God and tampering with the weather and causing catastrophes and stuff on the earth. Now, Christ saying you're going to hear rumors of wars, you're going to hear earthquakes and what was Christ saying? Christ looked down in the future and seen that man was going to tamper with everything that's happening. And the Bible said the beast is responsible for all the abominations upon the earth. So everything that's happening, because God created this world perfect, but everything that's happening, the wars, the weather, the diseases, the manipulations and the corruptions and the rapes and the child sacrifices and all these things are happening is the result of the beast power controlling the governments, and the governments got their merchants, and it's going all the way down with these Freemasons and Illuminati and all these things. It's going all the way down to us, who they will kill for population control. Like, what? I'm gonna do a series called Robots Replacing Humans pretty soon. And so what they're doing is they trying to control the population, because if you can kill off a lot of people, a small amount of people can be controlled.
Mm-hmm. I put out a series where I'm working on something that's right along that same size. It's called Building the Matrix. I look at things where we have you ever heard of Agenda 2030 and Codex Alimentarius?
No, sir.
It's a UN agenda to where they're pretty much trying to put us all in little micro hubs, all little microgrids.
Okay, yes, sir.
The same way you're talking about weather modification, the way they're over here destabilizing our geography, doing fracking, chemtrails, and all this other stuff. That's what I tell people is whenever we're building the matrix, we're literally destroying our exterior world so we can get this beast system mark, so they can push us inside of this matrix. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening right now. So whenever we see pictures coming up of robots are replacing our jobs, yeah, or robots are replacing inventory or workhouse work like that, it's simple. I was talking about that in another episode the other day about how the decision has been made. They're trying to phase us out. And when they're doing that, they have to kill off at least like a third of the population. The Georgia Guidestones themselves talk about it. That's right. Where they want a population of at least 500 million.
That's right.
Have you heard of eugenics and transhumanism?
Yes, sir.
Oh yes, that's it exactly. That's them trying to play God.
You see, exactly. And what they're doing, and the people, the Bible said, and the people love to have it so. People are so drunk that they don't even see that all this is a form of mind control and population control. Turning humans into robots, homosexuality, destroying the man, whether it's the black man or any kind of race, making the man second and making women first. Dumbing down creating the game. The game is another matrix. Gangs and stuff like that, killing each other. That was created too.
They're destroying the family unit.
Destroying the family unit, destroying the man, because
blurring the moral lines.
Destroy the man first. If you destroy the man, because the Bible said the man is the head of woman, so the man is the head and the power and the strength. Destroy him, what you have a woman trying to be a man. A woman can't be a man, and so therefore it's easier to control the family when the man is degraded.
Yep.
And people love to have it. So when you go to tell them these things, they call you a nut. Now, one thing that I do understand that the Bible said that in our time, it's going to be like the time of Noah. And I studied Noah. Noah preached that it was going to rain. The scientists, the religious people, the entertainers, the government, and the time of Noah was like, this is a nut. This is a nut. Don't listen to this nut, okay? The Bible said it's going to be the same way in our time, in the time of Christ. So it shows you that, and if you look at my work on, and it's out here, you know, social media is a reflection of what I go through out here in the public, you know. If you look at that work, you only see a handful of people waking up. And if you look at the Bible said in the time of Noah, it was only a handful of people that will be saved. Matter of fact, the new Jerusalem, the new earth will not be populated anyway, because the people have wandered after the whore and they have been made drunk according to the Bible.
We have. You can see the sickness. You can see it every day.
You can see it, and the sad thing about it is the entertainers, like, and a lot of people like, why you on Beyonce? Why you on Beyonce? You know, as a person, I don't have a problem with Beyonce. I don't know her, but the people they always send me little things, telling me little things that she's doing. But I said, all that is agenda. It's all about love, like you said. It's all about love, love, love. And keeping the people blinded while the governments are joining together, creating laws, destroying our freedom, and bringing in a new world order. And by the time when people wake up, man, they're going to have thug police officers banging on their door with machine guns in their face. And they're going to say, well, how did this happen? Because the nut that you call, the person you called a nut, was trying to show you what's going on so you won't vote people into the office. Matter of fact, I think that's too late too. That's too late too, voting. That's gone, bro.
Yeah, I worry about this next election. I really worry about what's going to happen these next 4 years.
Yep.
I don't want to vote. Well, I mean, I'm going to vote for somebody, but the way it's looking, you know, our country is going to, we got some grease tracks going nowhere.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's United States being dead 100 years now, man. The United States of America been dead for 100 years. When they killed off Kennedy and they killed off his brothers, that was a warning to everybody that sat in that seat that if you don't become a son of the whore of Revelation, Babylon, then these presidents, the Titanic, 9/11, Tupac, Biggie, all these people that died in the past that was cut down, Buchanan, all these people that died is a result of rebelling against his power. Michael Jackson even said it himself. Michael Jackson said that there's a power trying to kill him, and this organization is bigger than the government.
So it's a bunch of Satanists.
Exactly.
It's a bunch of Luciferians,
Yep.
a bunch of child-eating, child-molesting, sacrificing evil people. It's literally devil worshippers.
Exactly.
And people can't come to that agreement. They'll take it to the point to where they'll think, oh, well, the NSA is spying on us, it must be for good. But they can't understand how deep all of this goes back to where these people are literally worshiping the adversary.
And like you said, they're eating children. If you look at you go to Walmart or somewhere and you see a bunch of children on the wall, or you driving down the street and they're telling you that a child has been abducted. If you look at it, people disappearing. And like I did a research on a young man that they found wrapped up in a carpet, and this dude didn't have his organs.
Oh my God!
If you do the research and you cannot find no trace of these children were abducted, man, to be sacrifices for wealth, for power, and things of that nature.
Well, have you heard of Ted Gunderson?
He what did he do? He was like a child sacrifice or something.
No, he's the head of the CIA.
Oh,
him and Kathy O'Brien, like she was another one of those. She was an MK Ultra mind control victim, and he helped deprogram her. But she also helped explain some of the child trafficking, some of the child pornography, and some of the child sacrificing that was going on underneath Bill Clinton's presidency.
That's right. Yeah, I was actually doing some research on a lot of people that was under that MK Ultra programming, man. And I'm telling you, man, some of these women, they were raised, and they was, they're programmed to all humanism is gone from them.
Yeah,
it's gone. They like robots. They like demons, bro. They demonic.
They are. Well, they have multiple personalities to where one of them literally is a Satan worshiper, a devil worshiper, to where they summon demons forth. They call forth different powers like Beelzebub and Azazel for strength and things like that. There's a man out there. His name is Russ Dizdar. He looks into this kind of stuff as well, and he's talking about how there's a huge underground network of people that have just been, I guess, compromised, or that are just in the MK Ultra program, like they're generationals, to where they have like legacy programming. They have all kinds of different satanic hierarchy abilities. It's crazy, and people can't understand that because, well, they don't. First off, they don't want to believe that the devil's real, so they can't even admit the fact that he would have foot soldiers right alongside you. But people can go and watch a movie about it and think that's hilarious. And that's the great inversion. People are forgetting that TV is based off of reality.
That's right.
Not the other way around. Even with all this good stuff, all this great technology, and all this creativity, it's based off of reality, what we should be instead of what can be.
I was looking on YouTube, and I was looking at a guy. He slowed down Beyonce's eyes, and I know for a fact that she has a demon, because of course, when you see her and you got one thing, she had a butterfly over her eye, and we know that that's a sign of Horus, but the butterfly is also a sign of monarch programming.
Yep.
So it was this guy. He said it was a colleague or something. And his colleague would always wear black sunglasses. Even at night, this dude was wearing black sunglasses. He thinking he cool. He tried to be cool, whatever. No. So one day he asked him. He said, "Man, why you always? I never see you with them glasses off. Why you with it?" He said, "I can't take my glasses off. Because I take my glasses off, I'm gonna scare people." And he said, "Well, why don't you take your glasses off?" So he got close to the guy. He said, "Well, I do it for you," but he said, "But don't freak out." The dude took his glasses off, bro. His eyes was all white.
Possessed.
He was possessed, and I did the research behind the all white eye. That's a chief demon. Now, mind you, if you look at Lil Wayne's video, when the video "Love Me," when his eyes was turning white, what he was trying to say to those is, like you said, that great network of underground secret society. He was telling them that he have one of the chief demons. That he have a chief demon. And if you look at it, if you do the research behind Freemasonry, they believe that Lucifer himself is an angel of light, and Lucifer is God.
Mm-hmm.
And so all these individuals, so if who controls the industry is Satanists. So in order for you to go somewhere, you have to surrender yourself to Lucifer.
Yep.
And so when you surrender yourself to Lucifer, instead of receiving the spirit of God and God leading you, you can receive the spirit of a demon. So if you look at Beyonce, and look at her when she's not possessed, she's a woman.
She's shy, she's timid,
and everything. But when Sasha, and matter of fact, she's claiming it's another personality, Beyonce, or Beyonce, or something like that. She's claiming it's a Beyonce. She's Beyonce. It's Beyonce, it's Sasha Fierce, and there's Beyonce.
Oh my God.
So basically, this woman got not just one demon; she got several demons. And on one episode, some people was like, she's going through some things. Jay-Z taking through some things. Have you ever seen that one when she was at a basketball game or something, and she was rocking back and forth, and she looked like she was out of it?
Yeah, I saw that video.
Brother, that's MK programming, ultra programming, brother. She was out of it, bro. And some people say, oh, she's stressed, or it's drugs, or whatever. No, she was demonic, bro.
Well, see, they do that stuff, and this is how crazy it is. We see these rituals, we see this programming in public. They literally have the gall to put it in our face and make it seem like this is natural.
Yeah.
To where other people can think, hey, I can have 3 or 4 different personalities in me, and that's perfectly fine. That's a disassociation.
Exactly. Yep.
It's like people are literally and willfully programming themselves. Like, oh, 1 minute I'm this person, and then the next I'm this rock star person. I mean, look at what happened to Hannah Montana,
yep.
or Nicki Minaj. She even talks about having that little boy, some little boy.
Oh, Roman.
Yes. Oh my. What? How can you, a child of the opposite gender, spirit inside of you, that and people think that's perfect? Like we can cope with that she said this?
Look at Rihanna. If you look at some of her photos, she got white eyes, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you said, why do people say that's normal? You know why? The Bible said, how can two walk together except they be agreed? Because people are becoming possessed too. All their fans are possessed, bro. You cannot, with a clear mind, say that that's normal. You cannot, with a clear mind, say that that's not demonic, unless you are familiar with those spirits. Now, remember what the Bible said. Paul said in the last days that people going to turn from the faith to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. So the Bible lets you know that people going to turn away from God to seducing spirits. So that means that, so you say, well, how will the world receive the mark of the beast? Because they all possess spirits. And so when you see all those people fighting the truth, it's because they all have a spirit.
Yeah.
That's what you call demonic possession. They all have a spirit. And when you speak against that spirit, like for example, okay, where do you see that at, bro? Of course the Bible tells us this, but the Bible points to what's going on in the world. Look at I Am Legend. If you look at I Am Legend, about the main actor there was Will Smith.
Yep.
If you look at the not only on I Am Legend, but The Walking Dead and any other zombie stuff, that right there is only showing what they are making this world to become. Walking zombies whose mind is under control. And if you look at them, like, for example, I Am Legend, supposedly a scientific thing was going on. They was trying to find a cure for cancer. This is
Right.
what they said they were doing, but it was an experiment. That's what the government do. They say they're doing one thing, but they're doing something else. So they injected this experiment in somebody, and it began to fight against their immune system and their body, and it turned to a virus which turned the people into animals. So the virus began to spread. And so as the virus began to spread, the whole world, the world was, the population of people became zombified, and it was only a handful of people that they could control. Like at the end of I Am Legend, the woman, she had a butterfly. You know that, right? She had a butterfly on her shoulder, and Will Smith seen a butterfly, and he said the butterfly was new life because it represents new life. But we know the butterfly represents monarch, what? Programming.
Yep.
So in I Am Legend, it's showing you that the people of the world, how will they receive the mark of the beast? Because they are becoming zombies. Everybody becoming demonic possessed. And so these men, these zombies that was out there, if you look at them, they are possessed. Now, you see how they move? Have you ever seen what was Trey Songz's song? Most of these videos, these people their heads start twitching and going left and right real quick. You ever seen that?
Yep. ASAP Rocky does that.
Exactly. What you know what that means?
He's possessed. He's channeling spirits.
He's channeling spirits.
There's two things I wanted to jump back on right quick as far as like I Am Legend. I wanted to talk about, like, you heard how the Zika virus came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
That's what they told us.
Right.
But then whenever people start looking and doing the research, they see back in 2015 or late 2014, Bill Gates was in Brazil over there working with mosquitoes, and then bing bong boom, a year later there's an outbreak. You know what I'm saying? People and what happens? Oh, well, Bill Gates is there again to try to offer these people vaccines. And what do we see? Birth defects.
Yes. Yes.
And then people aren't putting those pictures together. They're just like, oh, wow, that's a horrible outbreak. And that's the problem. I don't know if you saw earlier today, but Vladimir Putin also came out and said that the West is killing its population through vaccines.
Yes.
Like Russian President Vladimir Putin said that.
Yes.
That blew my mind. And the other thing I wanted to talk about as far as celebrities, Jaden Smith over here rocking Victoria's Secret's dresses and leather clothes. Like, what?
You know, I believe that, I really do believe that Will Smith and Jada
They offered up their children.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because remember, and people say, well, Pastor Scott, this is a theory. No, this is not a theory. In order for you to be something in the entertainment business, you must take an oath.
Yep.
Now, I tell people I have insight. I have sources in the industry. I have sources in the industry, and this is what they tell you. I have people. I had a brother. He's now preaching against it. His name he called himself the Forerunner.
Okay.
And he used to write the scripts for them. He used to write it, and he understood what he was writing. Okay? And he said, in the music industry, in order for when you hit that 20 or 25 million mark, what they do is, in the beginning, they're innocent. And if you notice, you look at all the entertainers in the beginning, when they come out, they're making music, they kind of a little connected to reality.
Mm-hmm.
But as they get rich or get big in the industry, they start sounding and acting and doing strange things.
They have to.
They have to. Like, for example, Lil Wayne was in a concert, and a guy just came out of nowhere and gave him a kiss.
Oh.
tongue kiss. Now, I don't know if he really wanted to do that or not, but I do know that there are underground rituals and underground parties that men and women, celebrities that you see that people love, be there, and they be eating feces, piss, men with men, women with women, women with animals, men with animals. All these, and they keep them intact, in track with this stuff. Because it's a ritual. It's a satanic ritual.
It's a way for them to blackmail them. It's a way for them to degrade them.
It's a way for them to blackmail them, degrade them. Now, Jada and Will. Now, mind you, we haven't heard anything, because I did a research. I heard a lot of people that after they loved one or someone died, like Kanye West, he even admitted in the interview.
He offered up his mom.
Yeah, exactly. They said, well, who did you sacrifice? He said, my mom. He said it. He said, my mom. And furthermore, he is some kin to a brother of mine in Wilson. So somehow God had me connected with the entertainment business so I can understand what's going on in there. Now, I believe that Will and his wife sacrificed their children, not to death, but their agenda.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you could see it even whenever Will goes on shows and tries to act cute and cuddly with Jaden. Jaden's trying to push him away. He's showing no affection. It looks like he's actually terrified or upset with his dad.
Yeah.
You know, and it hurts because, I mean, you want to think of Will Smith as this great brother, but whenever you see that and you understand what it's coming from, you understand Jaden sacrificed. I mean, he's over here talking about how he's getting transmissions from aliens and how he's going to lift people up off of the ground. He's got, some kind of weird relationship with Tyler, the Creator. Yeah. When you're making these kind of statements and dressing like the opposite sex, you really got to wonder, like, what's going on. And if the parents aren't coming out and trying to say anything about it, besides supporting it, well, you understand what it is. That's that symbolism.
That's that symbol. Now, now I'm going to tell you something. That he was doing that at an early age, man. Mm-hmm. He was doing that stuff at an early age. And Will could have caught that, but he's not going to catch it because I believe that his children was offered up. His children was offered up, bro, for fame and glory and power. And now he don't like it. He hate it. But what can he do about it? He can't do nothing about it because if he tried to, then what's happened is, like Whitney Houston, because we did a series on Whitney Houston of her death, Michael Jackson and his death. Whitney Houston wanted to sing about love. Whitney Houston said, I broke the Singati programming, which is actually MK Ultra programming. She said, I broke that. And she said, I don't want to be controlled anymore. When she said that, she signed her death certificate. She was a sacrifice.
That's what happens whenever these people offer up their souls.
Yep.
And I think that's what to bring it back down, that's what people don't understand, is this programming. The devil's not going to come to you in his full form. The devil's going to come to you with glitz and glamour, as you said. And I think this is funny whenever we look at the understanding of alcohol, the understanding of how it's referred to as spirits. Like you said, we're all drunk right now. We're all programmed. We're all medicated. We're all drugged, right. and it's a reason, because the devil is literally trying to assault us. That's why in the Bible it tells us we need to be sober and vigilant.
That's right.
But it's hard in these end days with the way that they're literally poisoning our water. They're modifying our food. They're messing with even our toothpaste.
That's right.
And that's how deep they have all this stuff ingrained.
That's right. That's right. And I was a woman asked me about cloning.
Oh.
If anything about cloning. Look, I'm gonna tell you something. If you want to understand about cloning and anything else, watch the TV, watch the movie. They showed us that a while back, and I can tell you a show, Face Off. Remember Face Off? Nicolas Cage and what was the other guy?
I think it's John Travolta.
John Travolta. Brother, let me tell you something. Technology these days is something. And my brother actually showed me a woman, and I want to post, I think I'm going to post that up too. It showed a woman, and this is my word, and I hold my hand to God. I thought that was a woman. She actually took off her breasts, the whole covering, and she was a different woman. Now, that's cloning, bro. They take something that actually look like somebody else. And I have heard before that they have underground prisons to where people that you think is dead, they actually down there in their prison. And the people that you see in today is nothing but clone people.
Well, let me kind of... Have you heard of Donald Marshall, real quick?
No, sir.
Donald Marshall is a man. He came out back... I'd say about 2012-ish. He came out whenever Tila Tequila was talking about cloning, and he was talking about Britney Spears as well whenever she was talking about, the chip in her head and all that other stuff, the cloning facility. She went and made a music video, too, about her breaking her contract with her clone.
Right.
Donald Marshall was a man that pretty much came out, and when you're saying stuff like the politicians sneaking around in underground tunnels doing all kinds of sneaky stuff underneath there, the idea behind it is even with that movie Avatar, with the consciousness transferring, where they're able to leave their body, their physical God-given body, in some kind of canister, some kind of holster, and then they have their consciousness transferred to an artificially created, genetically compatible body. And because we always hear, clones' bodies, the ways they're built, they don't last for long. And the way that Donald Marshall was explaining it is that there's different ways, or there's different kinds of clones. There's organic robotoids, where it's like some kind of, like I said, some kind of genetic offspring.
Right.
And then they have ones where it's just like an actual robot, a cyborg, something where you're able to transfer your essence into it.
Right.
And they're able to, how we have I forget what it's called, MRI mapping of the brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're able to digitize your brain in live time.
That's right.
And put it in a chip to where...
They actually created a movie. I forgot the name of the movie. I watched it a couple of weeks back, to where they created a cyborg. It was a woman who they wanted her features, they wanted her brain, they killed her, but first they, like you said, they took her, like it's like it was cloning. It wasn't the real thing, but it was like synthetic, and they took her consciousness, put it on a chip, put it in that cyborg, and it acted just like her, but it was more powerful, more stronger, and everything just like her. Now you got Bill Gates and another gentleman is screaming, don't create these type machines, because they want to create machines with like higher intelligence, and they don't have no control over it.
Autonomous robots.
Exactly. And so if you look at that, they've been wanting to do that, because you got the Terminator, you got all kind of movies that showing the secret society, those is in this world, underground world. They telling them, this is what we want to do, this is what we going to do, this is what we headed towards. Now what's going to happen to the masses? Well, you keep them drunk by your music, you keep them drunk by, like you said, poisoning food and keeping the brain numb. You keep them drunk. So when we do these things, and you're going to start obeying machines, you can start marrying cyborgs. And so that's killing off the population.
Well, there's a picture floating around right now where Jimmy Fallon is in bed with some kind of robot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds silly, like, ha, 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 what's Jimmy Fallon doing with the robot in the bed?
Mm-hmm.
And the psychological implications behind that is that whenever we start seeing more and more articles of robots coming, or more development in technology, we of course we're going to get engaged. But if you could have your iPhone in the shape of an Android, in the shape of a person that you could customize, well, then you're not going to need to find a real human being. You're not going to need to go procreate, and that's part of the depopulation. They'll slowly kill us off with these kinds of machines, these sex bots.
Yep.
And that's the purpose behind it, is because, like I said with my series, Building the Matrix, where we're literally destroying the outside world, but giving ourselves over to this beast system.
This beast system, this made up,
this matrix
world. That's right.
And whenever we see stuff like, you see how David Bowie just died, quote unquote, randomly.
Mm-hmm.
He just died real quick, and he had a music video in play, pretty much had like a last will, had like a whole ceremony and everything waiting for him when he just quote unquote died, right?
Yeah. He
died at 69, and I remember seeing a video on it, and the person that broke it down really well, they explained it to where, and this is going back to the clone symbolism, or at least the clone concept, to where David Bowie just sacrificed himself to the system. He gave up his real body to go be rejoined in another one,
right.
Or to get a new one offered by this beast system, where he'll work forever, at least until it's dead.
That's right.
They want to synthetically create reincarnation, and that's what's crazy. That, like I said, they're trying to play God.
That's right.
And so, this is the Bible said there's nothing new under the sun. They was doing this now watch this now. To people, we don't know what happened in the antediluvian times. We only know what the Bible tells us. And the Bible tells us that those people then, bro, listen, when God told Noah to build that ark, Noah didn't use no paper, man. Noah didn't use no pen, no nothing. God told him what to do, and Noah started doing it. Why? Because there was giants back then, bro.
Yeah.
There was giants back then, and their brain was like 3 times bigger than ours. So they wasn't mentally corrupt like we are. You could say one thing and it's registered in their brain. They don't have to write nothing down. Now, them people was highly intelligent then. Brother, they created dinosaurs, bro. They created dinosaurs. You say, well, how was that? First of all, when God commanded Noah to bring in by twos the animals he created, and he destroys. And see, man wants you to believe that the earth froze over, or some meteorite or whatever came and destroyed it. The dinosaur stuff. No, men created the dinosaur just like men are cloning and creating things today. The Bible said there's nothing new under the sun. It's just new faces. So when God said that the last days is going to be like the time of Noah, you got to say, okay, what do God mean when he said the last day is going to be like the time of Noah? Because men was creating things and doing things that God told them not to do, bro. The knowledge and wisdom and power that he gave mankind, man is using it to make themselves gods. That's right.
Let me throw something out at you real quick. Mm-hmm. And this is I think this is why it's so crazy, because you're saying this new man, new God, or at least these people trying to play God.
That's right.
Whenever they had the puppy monkey baby ad rolling through the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
That plays back into that eugenics, that transhumanist aspect, to where, think about that. You have something that has the agility of a monkey, the loyalty of a dog, but the body of a human.
That's right.
That's them trying to play God. And when we go back to Egypt and we're able to see these hieroglyphs, these sculptures, we're able to see even back then how they were mixing the DNA of animals. And I mean, you can go back even farther than that, in like Greek, or not even farther than that, but you could go to Greek mythology, where they have the griffin and the chimera and the manticore, and it's all throughout history where they have just been somehow able to mix the genetics of what's on this planet.
That's right. You get 300 tell you that. 300. You look at 300 and you see animal
with animal heads in a human body.
Yep.
You know, and I want to share this with you. My sister in Christ, she has a husband, and he's a scientist. And one day we was in church, and so he works in New York, and he told us out of his own mouth that he said, brother, they trying to mix the DNA to create an animal person. That's what he said out of his own mouth. He said they trying to create a wolf man. Then you got so many people saying, boy, that's bull crap. But if you go back to the time of Noah, the Bible said in the end time, it's going to be like the time of Noah. And what happened in the time of Noah, men was cloning things, mixing genes, DNA, scientifically creating big beasts, big people, and it was against God. Matter of fact, they finding bones like 30 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Big heads. They was actually genetically creating things that God did not tell them to create. And so God destroyed it all and saved what he made.
Well, see, I think to let me blow your mind right quick to kind of I guess jump back and forth in between how God created us and what we're trying, or at least what the Illuminati are trying to do now. Think about the idea of just take these two, the concept of Cam Newton and Peyton Manning. Okay,
yeah.
If we take just the first parts of both last names, Cam Newton and Peyton Manning. So new and man, it's been right in front of us this whole time. So whenever they got these occult rituals going on, believe in love, this is perfectly fine, with Puppy Monkey Baby and Lady Gaga dressing as a man,
right.
Bruce Jenner, the fact that we have Newton and Manning,
yep.
the new and man coming together.
Yep.
Well, that's the symbolism right there. That's them telling us that
exactly.
the joining has happened.
That's right, brother. That's right.
It's like even whenever we talk about the Nephilim, like you were saying, all of flesh being corrupted. I mean, just last week we heard about 3-parent babies and the UK being allowed to do genetic testing on a human embryo.
Yeah. They testing the waters. They testing the waters.
That's insane. I mean, we're literally talking about being the last part of the human race at this point.
That's right.
No one can say.
Like you said, men are playing gods, bro. Paul said that he was telling the church, the second century church in that time that Christ built. He said that there are many. He said it himself. He said there are many masters, many lords, and men calling themselves gods. That's what he said. So the Bible let us know that men will try to act as gods, controlling the population, creating things that God never created, dumbing down and brainwashing the masses, creating laws that will slave or indoctrinate people, enslave them, creating a fantasy la-la land to where it's all love and people like zombies.
Mm-hmm. And
then the Bible said that when that happened, they're going to try to destroy the truth from the foundation of the earth. That's when God going to destroy. The Bible said in the book of Revelations that God would destroy those that have power to destroy the earth.
It's like isn't that the story of the Tower of Babel? Whenever people are literally bickering amongst themselves, building a tower to knock God or to try to reach God in the sky. Yep. That they would cry whenever a brick would fall, but they wouldn't cry whenever a man would fall because they were so determined in trying to knock God off of his throne.
Exactly. And in Daniel chapter 2, it also shows that men would try, because in the end, Nebuchadnezzar had a dream of this man. That's right. And the head of gold, arm and shoulder of silver, the brass and the iron, the two iron legs of thighs, which was iron Rome, Western and Eastern Rome. And then at the bottom was a new world order, clay and iron mixing. And the Bible lets us know that that represents man mingling together to try to dethrone God. Okay? Mingle together. How can you try to dethrone God? You can't do that. But they try to diminish God from the mental, because the Bible let us know that our bodies is the temple for the Holy Spirit to dwell in. But if you can brainwash and destroy the human mind, then that human mind will become possessive. And another spirit will take hold of that mind, and it's demonic spirit. But the Bible said that they're going to try to do this, but clay and iron cannot mix. So praise God that God will have the last say so. But the sad thing about it is, my brother, is this, that people refuse to wake up.
Yep.
And through
they don't want to be disillusioned.
Exactly. Throughout ages, people who tried to wake them up was murdered. Cut down.
Well, that's what happens, because the truth, and that's the difference between the truth and love.
Yep.
The truth will cut straight to you, and it is honest, it is real, it is what you need. Love can only get you so far.
Emotions can only get you so far, because emotions change. Truth,
Amen. The
truth is love that reveals, because if I see you in danger, and with all my energy, I try to save you, and I die in the process of saving you, and not even knowing you, that's love, right? And what if I'm sitting back and I'm crying because I see you about to die, and I'm crying for you because I feel sorry for you? Emotions change like seasons. Okay? Now, the love that they producing, like you said, accept all this stuff. Do as thou will. This love that they pushing is a replica of the true love. The replica, where it's let me say this. That love that they pushing is only a falsifying. It's a lie. It's only a lie to control the masses so they can accept the agenda. When they accept the agenda, they become zombies. And when they become zombies, guess what?
They don't think. They don't get engaged.
They don't think, and they can be exterminated.
Useful eaters.
Exactly.
Well, it's like the teachings of Aleister Crowley, or like you said, do as thou wilt.
As thou wilt.
Shall be the whole of the law, and that's how they're trying to have it. And I try to explain this to people all the time, is that whenever we see this technology, we don't really see like how much of it that it's absorbing, and how much of it's just replacing us. And it's that idea that we can be great through something else, instead of inherently being great, trying to replace it, giving our power over to these false idols.
That's right.
That's the whole the ideology behind Aleister Crowley. So when we hear things like, "Oh, let's appreciate in love," or "Let's believe in love," that's what the Pope is talking about.
Right.
The Pope's over here saying, "Well, we should bless aliens. We should bless human-animal hybrids.
Right.
We should bless gay pastors. We should bless lesbian bishops." And you're just like, "What is this?" None of that is true Christianity. None of this is true doctrine, and that's what happens whenever the world enters the church.
Right.
And I feel like that's where we are right now. People are thirsty for the truth, for the Word of God, and they don't know how to get to it because, well, they're too engaged in the world instead of trying to live with discernment.
That's right. That's right, brother.
I don't know. I'm just one person. But I feel like we went over a lot in this one episode. We're definitely going to have to do this again. Is there anything that you kind of wanted to say to the audience? Maybe you said you're working on series, right? Is there any way that people could kind of get to that? Would you like to tell them how?
Yes. You can go and type in Google Pastor Scott Hinton, and a lot of stuff will come up. I'm also working on music. I'm trying to bring back music that will get you to think. Not music that will make you into zombies, but music that will get you to think. And also, with the series Pastor's Chronicles, it is a chronicle about what's going on in this world. And what I'm working on now is, of course, I finished a series called Humans, Robots Replacing Humans. And what I'm going to do, too, is a series on the King of the South and the King of the North. And this is very interesting, brother, because the Bible predicts in the book of Daniel, chapter 11, that there will be a king of the north and there'll be a king of the south. Now, the king of the north is a religious entity, and the king of the south is atheism. All right?
Okay.
So both of them, the king of the north and the king of the south, is looking at the promised land. And they both want the promised land. They're racing to get the promised land. And so in this series, God is going to break down first the king of the south. In order for you to understand the king of the north, you got to understand the king of the south. Now, the king of the south, the Bible used the king of the south as Pharaoh. Because Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, told Moses, who is this God? Who is this Jehovah who I should obey and let Israel go? So the king of the south is basically what's happening among, especially the black community, where they're claiming that we are gods. They're claiming that we are gods, that we get to a certain point of understanding who we are. When we understand who we are, then we understand that we are kings and queens and we are gods.
It's like the Hoteps and the God consciousness, to where, yeah, I definitely see it.
Yeah, like the 5% nation, stuff to that degree. And
yeah,
we're going back to our roots and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So the king of the south is Beyonce and Jay-Z, Kanye West. All these people are going to be in that series, breaking down the actual symbolisms and what they actually doing now. But the king of the south is actually working for the king of the north to degrade, to tear down, to destroy, preparing the king of the north to come in with the false religious doctrines, the Antichrist, demonic doctrines, to cause the people to receive the mark of the beast in their hand and in their forehead.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Oh, that's happening right now.
It's happening right now. So basically, what's going on is a power is sitting, looking down, sitting in up security, as though they holy, with a white garment on, while their sons and puppets are destroying this world. Once the world is utterly destroyed, then they come in with martial laws. They come in with religious laws. And these religious laws that will be forced upon the world is doctrines of devils. Because the Bible said that many are going to leave the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. You can see that in the music industry. And the music industry and the entertainment and actors, they all are part of the king of the south. They are all a part of the king of the south to degrade and deteriorate and destroy the human mind. So once the human mind is destroyed, then the king of the north can come in and just totally eradicate.
Let me throw something out at you right quick. This might help you with with your video.
Mm-hmm.
It's the idea that two kingdoms are playing off against each other to work, that are pretty much in the same cahoots. I'm sure you're aware of who Albert Pike is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in his book, he's saying that the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world.
Yeah.
The war must be conducted in such a way that the Muslim Arabic world and the political Zion, the state of Israel, must destroy each other.
That's right.
That's where he's got the idea behind it is letting these fake kingdoms, these Babylons, these things that are supposed to be built up and destroyed, these straw men, letting them play off against each other so they can sit up over here and reap the spoils, take everything.
That's the same thing that happened with Hitler. When Hitler was killing all those Jews, you had the Illuminati actually funded it to create a new Israel.
Yep. But it's the Zionist Jews, the fake Jews, the ones that they don't fit the curses that are in the Bible. That's what I say every time. These fake Jews do not fit the curses that are applied to us in the Bible.
That's right.
Period.
That's right. That's right. When they rejected Christ for Caesar and the fake Messiah Barabbas, and when they stoned Stephen, the Jews ceased to be God's chosen people, and God turned to the Gentiles. He turned to the Gentiles. And so, Pastors Chronicles, man, your audience can look for me. They can go to also www.amc ministries, number 7. They got to put it in number7.com. And I have a full series of the books of Revelations and the books of Daniel's up there, which is very, very, everything I'm about to put together is already there. So it's like they get a sneak peek of what I'm going to be putting together, but it's going to be video and stuff like that. But they can go to www.amcministry7.com and already get an insight of all the things that I'm going to be putting together and stuff like that.
Right on. Thank you, Pastor. I really appreciate you coming on this show, brother.
I appreciate you reaching out to me, brother.
We're definitely going to have to do this again. I felt like we were jumping all over the place.
Yeah. Tell you, man. It's awesome to talk to somebody that's woke.
Right? It really is. That's why I do this, man. I really do appreciate just being able to have this kind of conversation with someone that understands what's going on.
Brother, amen, brother. Thank you, man.
Well, we're definitely going to have to do this again, Pastor. Thank you, like I said, for coming on.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
We'll talk to you soon, brother. Be easy.
God bless.
Bye.